Hey everybody, Joseph Rothschild here, aka Mono Bluetron, back again with another episode of 10-Minute Testing. So today begins what I hope to be a couple of episodes that make as much use of the newly released Impcantation monsters as possible. These versatile and intensely splashable little affronts to God are making a case for rituals again, and they're generic enough that the possibilities are almost endless. Of course, the first thing your mind jumps to when you think of rituals and are too stupid to play Nekroz is Blue Eyes Chaos Max. So we'll start out our Impcantation brews with the bluest eye possible. So here's the list, and holy hell, 60 cards and we couldn't find room for Manju. As always, I'll give you a little bit of background about the archetype, a little bit of a discussion about what I hope the deck can do, and as always, the card by card. So firstly, for those of you that don't know, Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon is the deck of choice for anyone brave enough to venture into dueling book singles. Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon is a ritual monster that can't be targeted or destroyed by card effects. It also deals double piercing damage, which pairs well with the defense position Ebly. That's very easy to make from as little as 2 monsters on your side of the field, and this devastating and uninteractive combo will spell certain death for your opponent, provided their set spells and traps do nothing and that their monsters don't have any quick effects. Should be easy, right? This deck is making use of a lot of cool stuff that's come out recently. Because it's ritual focused, we're playing Pot of Indulgence, and since we mostly search instead of draw, it's not a big deal that we're locked out. We've got the whole 12 material Impcantation build for maximum searchability, and the newly released Extra Foolish Burial Sending Herald ensures we'll be able to find ritual monsters or spells no matter our hand. We've got the Impcantation Ritual as ritual spells number 4 through 6, and Bingo Machina Go-Go Baby as numbers 7 through 9. With the absolutely unreal amount of support and redundancy for both the Impcantation half of the engine and the Blue Eyes half of the engine, we shouldn't have any excuse for not finding our combo. So with that, let's get into the card by card. First, we've got all 12 Impcantation monsters, Talismandra, Bookstone, Candle, and Pensilver. After that are some monsters that make Ebly, Grinder Golem, and Phantom Skyblaster, followed by Ebly herself. For ritual monsters, we've got 3 copies of Chaos Max, 3 Soravius, as he satisfies Impcantation requirements and is a sweet target for both protecting your Impcantation's on-field activations and making off of the second effect of the Impcantation ritual. We've got Chalice Slime in here as well, which is just completely bonkers, followed by 1 Brionac for scenarios where we have to use the Impcantation Ritual's graveyard effect to get exactly Talismandra. For spells, we've got 3 Magical Contract Door, which hilariously finds Chaos Max, Chalice Slime, or most importantly, Grinder Golem, 3 copies of Desires, 3 Melody of Awakening Dragon, 3 Indulgence, 3 Extra Foolish Burial, 3 Sky Striker Mobilize Engage, which, alongside Hornet Drones, our next card, makes Ebly show up to our opponent's side of the board, 3 Bingo Machine Go, 3 Chaos Zone, 3 Impcantation Celebration, 2 Called by the Grave, good luck finding it, and 3 Twin Twisters. In the extra, we're doubling up on a lot because of Pot of Indulgence. We've got 2 Intis for extra foolish flexibility, 2 Herald as its main target, 2 Phoenix, and we need 2 to OTK sadly, 2 Akashic for Grinder Golem, 2 Linkaribo for Akashic, 2 Kagari, 2 Mermaid, and 1 Clara and Rushka for scenarios where we draw into Ebly. 60 cards, and we're still drawing Garnets. So with that, let's jump into the games. So it's time for game 1, and we're going to do something a little bit different this time around. We're going to start with the best of 3 versus meta. Our opponent is on Dinosaur Thunder Dragon, which is a very interesting take on the deck. It aims to give it a little more proactive gameplay. Unfortunately, they have elected to let us go first, and we can't really do anything going first, so we'll fire off Pot of Indulgence, banish a whole bunch of cards, and draw into another one. 60 cards, and we're drawing Desires off Desires. Our opponent's going to start with an Allure of Darkness, then normal summon a Soul Eating Overraptor. Afterwards, they'll Gold Sark away a Roar. That's going to get them a Dark from deck. They'll go into Wee Witch's Apprentice. Afterwards, they will use Avian to get themselves a copy of Colossus, followed by using Kotal's Grave Effect to get a copy of Ultra Evolution and Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, and a Thunder Dragon Fusion for a Thunder Dragon Titan. I think we are safely dead here. Is that right? Have I counted correctly? Okay, time for game 2. So it's time for game 2, and if you thought going first was our biggest weakness, wait till you see how we deal with Colossus. Our opponent's going to start by activating Ultra Evolution Pill. That's going to get them a copy of Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. They'll then activate the effect of Dark, Avian, and get themselves a Colossus to their side of the board. Our hand does literally nothing, so the first thing we're going to do is activate Bookstone. They ash it, and really it does my heart good to even pretend that we were going to play Yu-Gi-Oh! I'll activate Go-Go for some reason. Why can I activate that? And concede. I'm glad we get to start this episode with the knowledge that it can't beat anything competent. Having said that, you don't become the terror of Dueling Book by not picking up matches against players who can't read, and thankfully Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro is chock full of them, myself included. Our opponent is on Lunalite, and they're going first, the fools. They came here to OTK me, but the best they'll do is set a Crimson Fox and pass it back. We're going to activate this copy of Brandish Startup Engage for a Hornet Drones. That's going to get us a token, and then a Kagari, who will add that token right back to our hand. We'll use it in order to go into Phoenix. Phoenix will turn into a Mermaid. Mermaid's going to get an Eebly from deck, then go into another Phoenix, so the attack isn't reduced, and Eebly ends up on our opponent's side of the field. We'll go into a Pensilver and a Talismandra to add a copy of Chaos Max to our hand, activate Impcantation Celebration, and get in for... Ooh, that's satisfying. Our second match is up against Plant Zombie Sworn, and this I think is a pretty good matchup for us. Board setups that include things like Tornado Dragon and Saruya are effectively free wins compared to, say, Colossi. Our opponent's going to start by normal summoning What Else Lone Fire Blossom. That'll turn into, ooh, what a surprise, a second one, and one more out of the deck before they go into the one, the only Orpheus Scorpio. That's, of course, going to turn into a Darlingtonia Cobra, getting themselves a copy of Brilliant Fusion, but they have one in hand to go into Seraphinite. Afterwards, they'll Trick Clown a Trick Clown to their side of the board, taking 1,000 in the process, go into Saruya, shuffle a bunch of cards back, and pass it back to us. Things are looking pretty good. We're going to start by activating the Melody of Awakening Dragon for a whole boatload of Chaos Maxes before activating Brandish Startup Engage and using Extra Foolish Burial so we can get ourselves a Chaos form to our hand. We're going to go into Kagari to get this Hornet Drones back before we activate it again, going into Nightmare Phoenix and Nightmare Mermaid. Mermaid's going to discard one of the 3 Chaos Maxes before going into Phoenix again, setting this Eebly, activating Chaos form, and getting in for, oh, another 8,000! Whew, I could get addicted to that. Our fourth match is up against Nephthys, a deck that is also playing Impcantations, though I don't think they need to be, having played a little bit of this deck myself. Anyway, we'll see who the superior ritual deck is. They're going to start by activating Kandal to get a Talismandra from deck. That's going to get them the Blue Boy himself. Afterwards, they'll fire off one of these Rebirths for an Avatar, use Avatar for Sacred Phoenix, and fire off a second one for Sacred Blue. They'll pass it back to us. This board is not formidable, so we get to start with a Magical Contract Door that we rip off the top for a Grinder Golem. We'll make 2 tokens and the Golem on our opponent's side of the field. Remember when this was going to be the play that happened every single game and then we just never got Security Dragon? Huh. We're going to go ahead and do it again before going into a Nightmare Phoenix and a Mermaid. Mermaid's going to discard Pot of Desires because we don't want to go -9 before going back into a Phoenix and using Foolish to send a copy of Herald. That gets a Chaos Max to our hand. Bookstone will get the rest, and recognizing the superior ritual deck, our opponent will concede. Woo! Let's keep that dopamine going! Our Game 5 is up against... Oh. Shoot. Geist is competent. Okay, it's a weird build, it's got 1-for-1, maybe we can make this happen. I really don't want to go second against this deck, but I really don't want to go first. Our opponent's going to start by firing off this 1-for-1, getting themselves a copy of Melusik. That's going to turn into a Link Karibo, surprise, surprise. That'll get a Marionette Tier 2 hand. They'll activate that to get a set copy of Materialization, fire off a pot for a couple of spells, set 3, and pass. So 4 set isn't great. We'll start with Go-Go, trying to prompt anything, Mind Crush maybe. We'll go ahead and go into a Talismandra and a Kandal. They're going to negate the Kandal effect. Okay, that's pretty good for us. We're then going to use Chalice Slime to get Pensilver. Pensilver is, of course, going to return the ritual to our hand. We're going to go into Celebration for a Chaos Max, then we'll go into a Mermaid off of this Eebly. That's going to trigger a Materialization from their Spell and Trap card zone, but since they're locked out of Special Summoning, they can't do anything with this Multi-Faker. This Link Haribo is a giant hassle. But unfortunately, passing it back is probably our best bet. Our opponent's going to go into Cerberus. Afterwards, they're going to flip a Protocol and trigger Multi-Faker, but they can't special summon it because they made Cerberus. Things are looking okay. We can maybe do this if that set card isn't anything important. We're going to start by activating Kandal. That prompts Protocol, sending the other Protocol. That's good news for us. We just want those cards gone. We'll get in for 2,800, and I really want to keep this Cerberus in the extra monster zone, but what do they draw? But, oh, the excellent out to Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon Melusik, and they decide not to use it? Oh, they have better ideas. They're going to go into Ningirisu and attack directly for 2,500. Now, the writing is kind of on the wall. I don't think there's a lot we can do. We do draw into Bookstone, which is great, but of course they do have Protocol active by sending the other Protocol, and they have a Multi-Faker in hand, so we'll scoop it up. So we're back with the deck. There's not much to say, but in the interest of in the interest of objectivity, we'll give it a fair shake. First, the pros. 1, it's incredibly consistent, like maybe the most consistent deck I've ever played in my life. You are never not opening what you need. In fact, brick with this deck, comment a screenshot, and I will private message you a video of me eating a Chalice Slime when we get it in 2020. 2, it does resist interaction. Non-targeting is important in a Sky Striker meta. Nice Widow Anchor, nerd. And 3, if you see the number 8,000 in YGO Pro often enough, you ascend to a higher plane of existence. And now the cons. First is that it has to go second. That's a massive liability, and while the deck is redundant, it really can't play through like 2 strikes or a couple of well-timed hand traps. 2, it really can't devote any space to hand traps. I know that's a weird claim to make since I'm like playing 60 cards that all do the same thing, but you need all 6 of your cards to execute the combo usually. If it was a 2 or 3 card investment to get out a Chaos Max and an Eebly, it would definitely be worth chucking some Ashes and some Impermanences in here, but as of now we're just kind of taking the L to the FTK. And 3, because it's a huge investment to make Chaos Max, we are never winning any grind game. Every deck that searches at all invests less, and if we don't end the game immediately, we're really just dead. All in all, it's a fine deck if you only get to play Yu-Gi-Oh! During your 3-minute court-mandated daily break during your war crime sentencing, but otherwise it's probably not a good use of your time. So that's that. I hope you appreciate the first in what I hope will be several videos exploring the Impcantations. If you want to see me play the decks I make on this show on stream, I'm on twitch.tv/monobluetron every Monday from 10 to midnight Eastern Standard Time, and if you want to see a deck or archetype on a future episode of this show, let me know in the comment section below and I'll do my best. Otherwise, I'll see you Wednesday.